I want to appreciate once again for the opportunity to stand before us. And, we are told that it is a solemn thing to stand before the people of God at such a time as this, because we are standing between the dead and the living. And so whatever we have to do knowing that any time, any minute, somebody may pass from the living to the dead. And so it is solemn to stand before the people of God. And our people should understand it is a solemn thing to stand in the presence of the people of God. We are told one misplaced statement can set the soul to eternal ruin. And one statement spoken in the right way may quicken the soul which is about to perish. The good thing is that the second Adam became a quickening spirit. The first Adam was a living man, a living soul. But the second Adam was made a quickening spirit, in that now he can be able to impart his spirit to his vessels, and they represent him. And the words that will go forth from their mouth shall be like rivers of flowing water. They shall be streamlet, him himself being the source of all water. But those who have accepted him being streamlets of the same life to others, so that they may be able to receive Jesus Christ and live. And so, in this session, where actually I'm covering for one of our brethren, is that I'm going to speak of something that you may go and explore yourself. And this is the sanctuary theme, where I'm going to talk about why was the sacrificial system given. If you're writing down, why was the sacrificial system given? When we look at the Jewish economy, there are important lessons that we learn from them. And I think I have until 1:40. I'll be done, either before that or at that point. When you look at the sacrificial system, the Jewish system, God had promised Abraham to make his heritage occupy the whole world and get the inheritance, all the promises. But then Abraham was not able to bear a child, and then in the old age he was able to bear Isaac. And then Isaac bore actually the two sons, that is Esau and Jacob, and then Jacob, the 12 tribes, where actually we find that the promises were to be fulfilled in them. But then God allowed this and the sacrificial system to happen because the people were so slow to understand the will of God. And if there are people who should study the journey of the Israelites, it is the people who call themselves Seventh-day Adventists, because they claim to be the spiritual Israel. Is it so? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You study the movements of the children of Israel back there from the days of Abraham until we had Israel or Jacob as an overcomer. First of all, you have to understand the name Israel itself is an overcomer. And so the children he gave birth to, they were to be overcomers. And their main work was to represent God on earth, not necessarily in sacrificial system. Because inspiration is so clear that if the children of Jacob, that is the 12 tribes, could have obeyed the commandments of God, Sinai could have not been given. There was no need of Sinaitic covenant. The reason why there could have never been a Sinaitic covenant is because already God had given Abraham the everlasting covenant. We are not saved through Sinaitic covenant, we are saved through the everlasting covenant given to who? To Abraham. Because we are told we are the children of Abraham by faith. And so the other covenant, which you or we call the Old Covenant, which was given at Sinai, actually was not the Old Covenant, but it's the New Covenant. The only reason why the everlasting covenant is called the New Covenant, it is because of the shedding of the blood. The blood of the lambs and goats were shed prior to the shedding of the blood of Christ. That is why that which was new is called the old, and that which is the old is called new. I don't know if you understand it. And so we have this everlasting covenant running through from Adam, renewed to Enoch, and then to Abraham, running from Adam, renewed to Enoch, and then Abraham. And it's going through, but in the midst, actually there's a covenant that is made with the Israelites, the old covenant, because they could not continue in the ways of the Lord. He had to bring in the shadows and the types and the multitude of sacrifices. But the issue is this: God did not intend these sacrifices to be perpetual or to continue forever. If he meant that they should continue forever, then Christ could have not come to die. And so in the gap, in the linear lines, we have everlasting covenant running parallel with the Sinaitic covenant. And the everlasting covenant is being run on Melchizedek priesthood. Are we still together? But then we have another covenant made in the midst that now is covering the Jewish economy alone, called the Sinaitic covenant, where the priesthood is whose priesthood? Huh? Whose priesthood? We are having two covenants running in parallel. The everlasting covenant running from Adam to the end of the time, called the everlasting covenant under Melchizedek priesthood. But in the midst there, because the children of Israel could not go through that covenant, another covenant is established, which is called the Old Covenant, running under which priesthood? Levitical priesthood with who? Aaron being the priest. But God did not intend that. Reason, because the everlasting covenant was to bring in everlasting righteousness and the people to be translated. But the people were so slow to understand the will of God. And we are just going to see some verses. I'm just doing some introduction. And God gives them a multitude of sacrifices. And the reason why I'm saying this is that you should be careful which covenant you want to live under. Because there are people who think that they have entered into the new covenant with God, yet they are under Levitical covenant. A very, very dangerous thing, which we are going to see in the Bible. God intended that his people may enter into the experience of the most holy place with him. And the experience of the most holy place is actually entering within the veil with the life of Jesus Christ and remaining there, being sustained there, so that you may go to the world and show forth the praises of him who has called you into his marvelous light. Get this. It is in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 9 that you are a holy nation, a chosen royal priesthood, is it? And if you look at the statement at it, is that the priests and the high priest were consecrated to be able to work in the sanctuary. Is it so? Now, in which state did they have to work in the sanctuary? In a sinful state or in a sinless state? In a sinless state, is it? So, if we have been chosen to be a nation of a holy priesthood, to offer what? Spiritual? To offer? Spiritual? It seems you left your Bibles at home. Let us go to 1 Peter. Chapter 2. We are starting there, chapter 2. I'm talking about the Jewish sacrificial system and us being so careful in what it meant And we should ask ourselves if we are in that system or the system of God. I'll go to 1 Peter chapter 2 as I expound on these things. From verse 1, wherefore laying aside all malice and 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speaking, as newborn babies desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. Now, sometimes we read this and we don't comprehend what it's saying. Tell me one thing. As newborn babies, I know people have had children, is it? In the families we come from, is it? How does a baby grow? Forward or backward? Huh? Does a baby grow forward or backward? Forward, is it? How should a Christian grow? Forward or backward? Forward. What happens if you start growing backward? Huh? There is no such a thing as growing backward, but it seems it happens amongst us so much. That a baby could stop breastfeeding, and at one point, 10 years, 12 years later, you see the baby going back to the mother and want to breastfeed. I want you to imagine such a scenario, and this is what the Israelites did. God designed a sacrificial system where you came with a lamb. And when you come with a lamb, you gave the priest. And you presented to the priest, and then you confessed all your sins on the lamb. And then you are given a knife to shed blood, and then the priest carries where? Into the sanctuary, the veil that separates the holy place and the most holy place. Is it so? Yes. And that veil was representing what? What was the veil representing? Hebrews 10, 20 and 21. Can you go there? Hebrews 10 and 20. 10, 20 and 21.
By a new and living way,
yes,
which he has consecrated for us, through the veil, that is to say, his flesh.
Yes, by a new and living way which he has done what? Consecrated, is it? As through the veil which is his flesh. And what was put on the flesh? On the veil?
Blood.
Blood, is it? What was put on the flesh? Yes. What was put on the veil?
Blood.
Blood. What was put on the flesh?
Blood.
The flesh of Christ is the blood which was put there. Get serious a little bit. 2 Corinthians 5:21. 2 Corinthians 5:21.
For he has made him to be sin,
yes,
us, who knew no sin, that we might be made the righteousness of God.
So in him, in his flesh, he carried whose sin?
Our sin.
Our sin, is it? Just as the Israelites put blood on the veil, so our sins was put on his flesh. For what reason? For what reason? For what reason was sin put on his flesh? The problem, we communicate different in English.
So that we might be made righteous.
So that we may be made his righteous. And if that is the case, if the blood was put on the veil and our sins are put on his flesh so that we may get his righteousness, for what goal, for what cause, and for why did this happen, that we may get his righteousness, so that we may enter through the veil with a new living way. Now, why was the sin put on his flesh? what is the purpose of putting sins on his flesh? For the righteousness. At the end, something may happen. When the sin is put on the flesh of Jesus Christ, it cannot remain there, but it has to be blotted out. Okay? And that is why on the Day of Atonement, whatever has been going to the veil, actually on the Day of Atonement, it was blotted out. So, by putting the sins on this veil, the Israelites had to enter the most holy place by faith with Jesus Christ. And we are told that if they could have continued in this, they could have been practical Christians. Now, this is something that they didn't realize, which the book of Hebrews says that the way to the holiest had not been made or revealed to them. They thought that God had given them a service of coming with lambs in the courtyard. The blood is carried to the vessel and they go back to the camp. And they come like normal people. They just come. They go to the camp, they come. They go to the camp and they come. And that is the kind of life that we are living. A life where sin has been put on the flesh of Jesus Christ. And instead of us entering with him into the most holy experience, we go back to the camp, thinking that Christ can be crucified again, the lamb can be crucified once again, and then the blood again carried to the veil. But this is not the kind of life God is calling us into. And it seems the way that the Jewish people did not understand the reason for the sacrificial system is the same thing that we don't understand the reason of Jesus going into the most holy place. The reason for Jesus going into the most holy place was not to help us continue sinning. No. It was to blot out our sin. So that, look at 2 Corinthians as we start to go through the Bible. The book of 2 Corinthians. Somebody to make sure that those children are entering quietly in this place. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, and let us go to verse 17. We read in 2 Corinthians 5:17. We read in Peter that let us be like newborn babies. Newborn babies. A baby who is born, what are the steps of a child? First, a child is born. And then the child starts interacting with various things. That child reaches at a point, they start to learn how to talk. There is a period of breastfeeding, there is a period of weaning, there is a period of learning how to speak and utter words, then there is a period of walking. And this becoming a child from infancy to a child and continuing like that. Until the child becomes a mature person. And that is what we are told that we should be growing in those steps. But this being born again in 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17. Therefore what? If any man be in Christ is a new creature, all things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And all things are of God, who hath reconciled us to himself by Jesus Christ, and hath given to us the ministry of reconciliation. I want us to get the point, to wit, that God was in Christ reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing their trespass unto them, and hath committed unto us the word of reconciliation. Now then, we are ambassadors for Christ, as though God did beseech you by us. We pray you in Christ's stead, be reconciled to God. And the reason why God is reconciling all of us is to help us participate in the ministry of reconciliation. Are we together? Now, the ministry of reconciliation only happened on the Day of Atonement. Do we know that? It is, he says that he might reconcile everything that is on the earth and in heaven. Have you ever seen that verse? Is it in Ephesians or Colossians? Can you just search it very fast that in due time he may reconcile all things on earth and in heaven? Either it is in Colossians or in Ephesians. I hope you get it all, because there is a point I want to make which is important. That he might reconcile things whether they be on earth or in heaven. And so, by doing that, he makes us ministers of reconciliation. And that is what Christ is doing in the heavenly sanctuary on the Day of Atonement. A minister of reconciliation. Now, in this ministry of reconciliation, we have you found the verse? Reconcile things whether they be on earth or in heaven.
Colossians
2:16. Thank you. Colossians. Ephesians or Colossians? Colossians. Okay. 2. 1:19. Yes. One.
It is Colossians 1:19 and 20.
For it pleased the Father that in him should all the fullness dwell, and having made peace through the blood of his cross. Do you see that? The children of Israel shed the blood of the Lamb, but this is Jesus Christ shedding his blood and taking it into the most holy place, is it? Because he entered into heaven with his own blood, not the bloods of goats and lambs, is it?
Yes.
But why did he enter there with the blood? Peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven, that they may be one thing. And so, when you come to the Day of Atonement, we had the high priest entering into the most holy place. And whom did the high priest have in the courtyard? When he entered to minister in the sanctuary, Aaron, on the Day of Atonement, who did he have in the sanctuary again?
Inside.
Yes. Or at the courtyard? No. The fit man was outside the courtyard on the Day of Atonement. It's only when the high priest came out that he was able to hand the fit man, the Azazel. But who were in the courtyard on the Day of Atonement? What? The congregation was in the camp. The congregation could not even be allowed in the courtyard on the Day of Atonement. Do you know that?
Yes.
The other priests, special priests, they were appointed to be in the courtyard. And if you read the book of Joel, they were weeping and mourning for the work that was going on. So that the high priest may leave the most holy place with a blessing for the people. In the book of Joel chapter 2. And so, when Christ entered into the most holy place, he needed to have priests in the courtyard. Is it? Now, the heavenly sanctuary does not have a courtyard. Do you know that? Does the heavenly sanctuary have a courtyard?
No.
Why is it the heavenly sanctuary not having a courtyard?
Because courtyard is earth.
How do you prove courtyard is the earth? You know, sometimes we just say these things. How do you prove that earth is the courtyard?
Okay, you could look at it like this. Maybe when you go to the tabernacle of Moses, it's at the courtyard where they used to slay the lamb. So look at this earth also as a place where we slew Christ.
That's the issue. The ark is the courtyard because that is where the lamb is sacrificed. And then you go to the sanctuary inside. And so when the high priest enters the most holy place, he must have, it's a must, he must have priests in the courtyard. Is it so? And who are the priests? Huh? Who are these priests? It's actually who? His people. Not all his people. Because not all Israel was allowed in the courtyard. His ministers should be in the courtyard. Were the priests who are appointed to the courtyard, did they ever leave the courtyard during the Day of Atonement? Never, is it? They only left after the work is finished. Were they able to be sinners on the Day of Atonement? So, are we ministers of God? Appointed to be in the courtyard on the Day of Atonement, or appointed to be in the camp? You should be answering yourself, I should be answering myself. Am I a minister on the Day of Atonement outside the court or inside the court? Because if we don't understand these things, my friends, I'm telling you that we will be the means of many people not entering heaven. Because we become a stumbling block in the courtyard. Instead of offering our prayers to go before the high priest so that he may live with the blessings to come and bless his people, our prayers will be like smoke. They will be like noise in the eyes of the Lord. This issue of not understanding our position on the Day of Atonement. We cannot continue as the Israelites continued in their lives. The issue of entering into the sanctuary and going out, entering and going out. And some, like the children of Aaron, coming there when they were drunk. We cannot do such a work and then count ourselves that we understand we are in the Day of Atonement. And so Christ enters into the most holy place and he chooses special people. And let us go back to the book of 2 Peter. Now, if we can get this experience of the most holy place, then, brethren, we should restudy Adventism. Because Adventism is not just about having a knowledge of things. True Adventism actually is the finishing of the work. And in the finishing of the work, when you read the creation week, God finished his work and entered into the rest. And so we on earth should be finishing the work and entering the rest of God. And so when you go to 2 Peter where we were, we are told something so crucial. 1 Peter chapter 2. Verse 2, we were as newborn babies desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. If so be that you have done what? Verse 3. If so be that you have tested the Lord, that he is what? Gracious. You have tested the Lord. And how do we test the Lord? The book of Psalms says that, oh, test the Lord is good. How do we come to test the Lord? We are told by the reception of the gift of the Spirit. And so, if so be you have tested that the Lord is gracious, to whom coming is unto a living stone, disallowed of men, but chosen of God and precious. Verse 5, ye also what? As lively stones are built up a what? A spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God. And to God by Jesus Christ. And so, here we are, lively stones to build up a spiritual house. Now, you are told in the building of the temple, the literal temple, we are told no hammer was heard. Is it? The stones were made in the quarry and they were brought in the ground to build up the spiritual house. Which means that these stones fit into place as the temple was being built. True or false? And then we are told we are those lively stones to do what? To build up the spiritual temple. If you want to take it as your body or the New Jerusalem, so be it. To build up this spiritual house, and for what purpose? To offer what? Spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God by Jesus Christ. Now, when the temple in the wilderness was built, it was built according to prescriptions and pattern. Is it so? Exodus chapter 25, build me a sanctuary that I may dwell among you according to the pattern I have shown you to the mount. Is it? So if you are going to build this spiritual house as lively stone or spiritual stones to offer up spiritual houses, how is it to be built? According to the pattern. Now the pattern is not the earthly sanctuary but the heavenly sanctuary. And that house, the real person is Jesus Christ. He is the stone, the rock. And we are the lively stones. He is the chief cornerstone of that spiritual house. And we are the lively stone. And so, we should build this house according to Jesus Christ. The example that we should derive from is the example of Jesus Christ, who by faith entered the most holy place before he went there literally. The priests were chosen and anointed, and then they went to work in the sanctuary after sacrifices had been made. Christ lived a life that is worth. In fact, when you read the book of Exodus, I think chapter 12, the lamb was brought and inspected for 10 days. Then, when the priest or they saw that it was right to be sacrificed for the offering, then it went to be sacrificed, is it? It didn't have to have a spot. So Christ could not go into the heavenly sanctuary without a perfect life. Hebrews says, after being perfected, he was made heir of. Let us look at the book of Hebrews again. The book of Hebrews. Chapter 5, verses 7 to verse 10. It is important to understand that if Christ is our pattern, and he is the rock and we are the lively stones, then these stones should be like the chief cornerstone, whom in the days of his flesh he had offered up prayers and supplication with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Which death is this? Which death did Christ fear? Which death did Christ fear? Which death did Christ fear? Eternal death. Eternal separation from Father, is it? So it was possible Christ could be lost.
Yeah.
You can fear something that you are already a conqueror over it. So he feared eternal separation from the Father. That destroys the Trinity doctrine of three gods. That if he feared to die eternal, then it means he could have sinned and he could have perished. Now, if Christ could have perished and God is made up of three, if one of them perishes, do we still have God? No. So that should destroy the doctrine of Trinity, by the way. And verse 8 says, though he were a son, yet learned the obedience by things which he suffered. He did not learn to draw back. He learned obedience. Every step was a step of obedience. And he is the rock and we are the lively stone. So every step is a step of obedience, not a step of backsliding. because we are the priests and he is the high priest. And being made perfect, he became the author of what? Eternal salvation unto all of them that obey, called of God and high priest after the order of what? Melchizedek. He could not be the high priest if he was sinning and rising, falling and rising. It was only through perfect life that he became a high priest. Do you understand? It is only by perfect life we become priests in this day of atonement. Otherwise, we cannot qualify to be priests in the courtyard during the day of atonement without a life of obedience and perfection. We must pass from the camp, people who are seated in the camp, and be made whole again, so that the word of reconciliation might be committed to us in this day of atonement, that Christ must have people in the courtyard. We cannot expect every Christian to be in the courtyard during the day of atonement. Not everyone was found in the courtyard, but special priests who had the duty in that day to perform in that courtyard during the day of atonement. And those who are ministers of the sanctuary. Now, if we say we are workers, we are ministers to stand between the dead and the living. That is a very solemn thing. That is why I started my presentation by saying it's a solemn thing to stand before the people in this day of atonement, because you are standing between the dead and the living. Somebody is just about to perish and somebody is just about to be saved. Whatever you are doing, you should understand that we have been called especially for Christ to have a people in the courtyard during the day of atonement. And he is not going to have everyone. Not all those who call himself even ministers or the priests, not all priests were found in the courtyard during the day of atonement. Not all of them made it through the day of atonement. Some perished during that day of atonement. And so what kind of a view of the sanctuary are we having? Are we having a view of the sanctuary as the Jewish head, that the way into the holiest had not been manifested to them? Let us look at that verse in the book of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 8. And let us look at the verses very keenly, what they are saying. We are told in Hebrews chapter 9 from verse 1, then verily the first covenant had also ordinances of divine service and a worldly sanctuary. For there was a tabernacle made, the first wherein was the candlestick and the table and the shewbread, which is called the sanctuary, and the second veil, the tabernacle, which is called the holiest of all, which had the golden censer and the ark of the covenant overlaid around about with gold, wherein was the golden pot that had gold, had manna and Aaron's rod that budded, and the tables of the covenant, and over it the cherubims of glory shadowing the mercy seat, of which we can now speak particularly. Now, some people read that and say that Paul did not have a space to speak about that, but that's not the thought there. Now, when these things were thus ordained, the priest went always in the first tabernacle, accomplishing the service of God. But unto the second went the high priest alone once a year, not without blood, which he offered for himself, but for the errors of the people. And Christ is not offering an offering for himself, but for the errors of the people. But look verse 8. The Holy Ghost signifying this, that the way in the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices that could not make him that did the service perfect as pertaining to conscience. Now, there is the gist of the matter, that the first tabernacle never made the people who came there and offer these sacrifices perfect. Because we are told in Romans, they did not take it by faith. They thought that it was a round of ceremonies. Making sacrifices, going out, making sacrifices, going out. But that place was not revealed to them as to now. Look at verse 9, which was a figure for the time, then how? Present. Those were figures, but now we are living in the present time where we are not living in the figures, but the revelation of the holiest. The holiest was not revealed to them, but at the present it is revealed unto the people living upon the face of the earth. And so what is the difference between those people and the peoples in this time? The difference is this, that they entered there always to make sacrifices of their sins. But it should not be so, because the way to the holiest has been revealed to the people. And see this thought, how he says, these things stood for meat and offering. But in verse 11 we are told, but Christ being come and high priest of good things to come, by a greater and more perfect tabernacle, not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building, neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he did what? Entered how? Once. Into where? Into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us. He entered there how? Once. The other priest entered there always, is it? But why has he entered there once? Because he has already purchased redemption for us. Which means we don't have to be going there and coming back. Going there and coming back. Because the way to the holy place and the most holy place has been revealed unto us. And so we know that when the year started, we had what we call the daily sacrifices, which were offered in the courtyard. Is it so? And the blood could go into the sanctuary. It could go into the sanctuary. But when the high priests were in the holy place, also it was not, when the priests were in the holy place, it was not a time for bringing sacrifices. And when he entered into the most holy place, no time for sacrifices. The sacrifices were offered where? In the courtyard. When they entered into the holy place, do you know what they did there? They partook. The meat, we had the meat they had to eat. If the blood was not sprinkled on the veil, they partook of the meat. Do we remember that? Yes, but if the blood was sprinkled on the veil, they did not take that meat. And so the time that they gathered into the sanctuary in the holy place, it was the time for eating the meat that had been sacrificed. But in eating that meat, what did it signify? They are taking the sins of the people, and they could not bear the sins of the people when they were sinful also. And so they were standing between the dead and the living. No sinning when they are partaking of these things in the holy place. After the sacrifices had been finished, if the blood had not been sprinkled on the veil, they sat in the holy place and partook of the meat, meaning that they were bearing the sins of Israel. And the only thing that we should be doing, we are not even in the holy place by the way. We are only in the holy place for the people who don't know Jesus Christ and who are trying to come to Jesus Christ. And we are trying to bear their sins. That is why we are told that this earth is preserved because of the righteous people living there. Have you ever read that? That the wicked owes their gratitude to the righteous men living on this earth. Without these righteous men, the earth will not be living right now. And so as we are in the holy place, we are only for those who have never come into the camp. They are outside. But now we are not even in the holy place at such a point, but we are in the most holy place by faith, entering into this experience of the most holy. And so, if we have entered into the most holy place by faith. Look at the book of Hebrews 9:14, what it says. How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through what? The eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from the dead works to serve, that we might be purged from our sins, that we may serve the living God in where? In the sanctuary of the Lord, because the theme is the sanctuary. Is the theme the sanctuary? We are not talking about any other service but the sanctuary services, is it? It is only after we are purged from serving dead works that we can serve the living God. So if we are still serving dead works, then we cannot enter into the service of the Lord. If we are not overcoming non-sin, and we are not putting things in order that should be put in order, if we are not walking according to the faith we have received, then we cannot enter into the service of the Lord in his sanctuary. And so, we should be careful when we say that we are ministers of the sanctuary, because we are the ministers of the sanctuary. But we should be careful with those statements, in that when we say it, we mean it. We are not saying that we shall parade our holiness. No one can parade his holiness. In fact, we are told no one can proclaim his holiness. It is filthy rags. But God wants to make us his servants. And he cannot make us servants if we are willfully violating the sanctuary itself, not understanding the sanctuary service in our day. The children of Israel never understood the sanctuary service. Do you know what they ended up doing? What did they end up doing without understanding this sanctuary service? When the lamb came, instead of accepting him, what did they do? They rejected him. Do you know we are in danger of also rejecting Jesus Christ in our time? That is the same situation we find ourselves in. Just in closing, I think this sanctuary theme, it is something that should be explored deeper if we will be able to even overcome sin. Because we may end up with the same service that the Israelites had, and they crucified Jesus Christ. And we may never know our time of appointment. And in Hebrews chapter 5, the whole Hebrews is about sanctuary. Read it and understand it. Hebrews chapter 5, we are told in verse 11 that we have many things to speak about Jesus Christ, but we are dull of hearing. Verse 11. Verse 12 says, For the time you ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principle, oracles of God, and are become as such have need of milk and not strong meat. Do you see that, the backward growing? That at the time the child should be walking, he comes from this point and comes to the mother, I need to breastfeed. If you were a father in the house and a child comes, Brother Arnold comes back and tells the mother that I want to breastfeed. And you are seated in the sitting room with your wife, and Arnold says, and he's so serious, he wants to breastfeed. What will you do? And so at the time we should be teachers, and it is the house of the Levites that were teachers in Israel, is it so? When they should be teaching Israel, where were they found? Needing to be taught again the first oracles. And then Christ comes to Nicodemus and says, you are a teacher in Israel, but you need first lessons on the principles of being born again. You must be done what? Born again. How is it that you are teaching Israel and you are not born again? And that becomes a serious thing to Nicodemus, that he is a teacher in Israel, but he doesn't understand the lesson of being born again. Can it be true that also we are teachers in Israel, we don't understand the themes of conversion? And Lastly, Paul says that they still need what? In verse 13, for everyone that useth milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. Yet we understand Christ died so that we may get his righteousness. But now we are babies, still needing. We are unrighteous. He says unrighteous, and unrighteousness is sin. Then he finishes by saying in chapter 6, because these were not separated in that time. Therefore, this is where we end. Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Christ, let us go on to the perfection, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works and of faith toward God, of the doctrine of baptism and of laying on of hands and resurrection of the dead and eternal judgment. Where were these things offered? Where were these lessons taught? In the sanctuary. These two verses, these things, where were they taught? In the sanctuary. The doctrines of repentance from dead works, faith toward God, the doctrine of baptism and laying of hands and the resurrection of the dead. Where were they taught? In the sanctuary. Which apartment represented that? Huh? You are gazing. Where are you gazing, courtyard? Eh? Why are you gazing, courtyard? Because you are gazing. The people who are sure don't speak the way you speak. Why the courtyard? How sure are you it is courtyard where these things were? They were done in courtyard. How sure are you? Which vessel there reveals to you it is courtyard? The laver for baptism and the altar of sacrifice. That is where actually you laid hold by faith on the land that your sins were being forgiven. But he says, let us leave these principles. That God has forgiven you, you have faith in Jesus Christ, and you can be baptized. Let us leave these principles and go to perfection. Is that what Paul says? And so no Christian who understands the sanctuary that is in the Day of Atonement should be found in the courtyard. But how many ministers are found in the courtyard? Still needing to be taught these first principles. Of telling you, can you repent of what you are doing? Can you know that there is eternal judgment? Don't you know that Christ has died for you on Calvary? Don't you see that that is the same thing we are teaching ministers? Because they are always sinning and repenting. And we continue reminding them, don't you know we have eternal judgment? Don't you know that Christ has died for you on Calvary? These are the things we have to pass from and go on to perfection, which is entering into the most holy place by faith with Jesus Christ. I say there is no way we can teach or even preach about this thing right now. But God help us to understand we don't continue in the same system the Jewish were in, not understanding the way to the most holy had been revealed and living a victorious life. Let us move from this nominal Christianity. And by faith, by the grace of God, we can enter into the most holy experience and be a special priest for Christ in the courtyard during the Day of Atonement. God bless us. Shall we pray?